Very good on cameras, everybody? All right. Coach Stein, we'll open it up to you for our opening segment.
All right, thanks for being here. First, I want to make sure everybody understands this and knows this, but the NCAA has notified us that Antonio Berry has exhausted his college eligibility. So we pursued every single option that we could for him. He's a great person, great player, and we wish him nothing but the best moving forward. On a positive, Alex Afari has been cleared to practice with our team based on the guidance from our compliance staff and the SEC. So his competition eligibility, it remains under review like most of these cases. We're waiting further clarification before he will be permitted to play in games with us this season. But obviously he cares a lot about UK, this place as a whole. And we would love for him to have the opportunity to come back and represent us and the University of Kentucky moving forward. I think he could help our team immediately, and we'll continue to support him. In terms of the scrimmage, I would just categorize it as sloppy. There's a lot of reasons why, so I typically let the tape tell me the story. I'm not going to let weather or heat play a factor into why it might look a certain way, because ultimately this is going to be the temperature for the first game. We're on turf. It's going to be hot. It's the first game of September, and so we have to continue to prep our bodies and our minds more than anything about how to conduct ourselves on the football field and to play through being hurt and pain and mental fatigue. The best teams do. Championship level teams do. So we are, based on today, we're a little bit of ways away from that standard, but we're going to continue to push this week and to get ourselves prepped for Monday practice. We're going to have an opportunity to watch the tape tonight, get the guys up here tomorrow, and then get after it again on Monday. So, we have some work to do, but hey, that's what you sign up for, and that's why you practice. So with that, I'll open up to any questions.
Well, did you all get any word from the NCAA before you took Antonio? Because I know he graduated in 2021. Just kind of walk us through that, maybe, if you could.
Yeah, it's quite the process, but I'm wishing him nothing but the best. It's unfortunate, but we have to move on from it.
What kind of shape is Alex in? I think he was at the training camp with the Packers, but how quickly can he kind of get up to speed?
I mean, I think he's in fairly good shape. He was a Division I athlete not too long ago, and he was in a NFL rookie camp, like you said. So he's had to stay in shape. And I think since all these findings have been coming out, he's obviously been excited. So, I'm sure he's been working even harder to get himself ready for practice.
Aside from the mental stuff, is there anything you really want to see your guys clean up or fix before kickoff?
Yeah, I mean, we're still, I'm slow to really judge where we're at, because I know there's still installation that's going on. There's schemes. There's trying to perfect those. And, when you're trying to think on the football field, you usually slow down and play slower because you're trying to think. And then, other elements are out there, and, you're down some bodies in certain spots. You're playing a lot of reps. It just, that fatigue takes over. So we have to make sure that is not the case while we aren't playing the way to our standards. So it starts with playing clean. And that's really where I think we didn't do a good job of today. Way too many penalties, especially offensively. Didn't sustain drives offensively. Defense gave up some explosives. So it was not up to par for us currently. But to me, I always look at what's good, and the opportunities is that we're still 21 days out. We're not playing today or tomorrow, so we got time, and but time's ticking. So we got to get the train moving.
You've seen a lot of first scrimmages. I mean, is this part of the course, or you haven't seen it as a head coach, but I mean, you know how teams are and how they look now versus the first.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my first fall camp scrimmage out at Oregon with Bo Nix and 7 NFL players, and I don't think we scored a touchdown, and we ended up leading the country in scoring. So that's why I'm more disappointed in our guys' enthusiasm coming out of the tunnel. First time in Kroger Field, in the stadium. It seemed like we let outside factors dictate how we were going to play today as a whole, starting from the way that we stretched, the way that we did our pregame, our 7-on-7, and so that bled into the scrimmage and ultimately did not produce winning football for the majority of it. So again, we got opportunities to improve over the next, weeks to come and ultimately the rest of the day.
Coach, did you learn anything today about the QB2 room?
Yeah, I think that started to shape up a little bit more. Kenny obviously got the majority of the reps. Callum got a significant amount of reps as well, and I think there's still a battle between those other three guys. So I think the next week or so will start shaping up, and then once we get closer to the game, we'll end up making sure that we have a true two.
Just go back to Afari real quick. Do you have any indication as to when there should be some clarity of, when he might be eligible and what that means as far as getting ready?
I don't. Again, it's all still a little bit up in the air. We just want to make sure that we're ready for the moment, if and when it happens. So, just working with our athletic department and compliance to make sure that we're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing. So, excited about it, but I'm not gonna, think too far ahead on that. Just really try to make sure we're doing a really good job today.
Well, how do you feel about the running back depth as you continue to kind of make sure you get CJ and Javonte back?
Yeah, CJ was out there pre-practice looking really good. Our training staff and our return to play staff really like where he's at. So he'll start getting more real practice in this upcoming week. Jason Patterson, we kind of held him. He's got a lot of carries over the last 3 weeks, so we lessened his load today, so it wasn't a lot, but he's done a really good job. Martellus Carter, does some good things out there. He's got to continue to know what to do. When he knows what to do, he can play fast. Deuce had some explosive runs today with the second group, the white group, and then we're continuing to build up Amir and some of those other young guys.
Is there sort of a new sense of urgency because week one's only a few weeks away as to getting things correct, but also not letting guys think too far and just focus on right now? Is there sort of a new sense of urgency?
Yeah, I think there's always a sense of urgency. I think when I got the job, there was a sense of urgency to change what I felt like needed to be altered to have a winning program. So yeah, there's always that urgency, especially in my mind, waking up at night thinking about practice plans and plays and how can we get better. So the players feel that. We just got to make sure that there's more than just a few of them feeling that it's the majority of the team.
There was a highlight of Jacaden Ferguson making a diving kick. What have you seen from him so far?
He's tough. He practices every day, hasn't missed a rep. So I'm really excited about him. We put him in some different spots and really tested his ability to learn the offense. So he's got a ton of skill, a ton of talent. I think the closer we get to game time, the more we're going to feel, hey, he's going to be at this position and really focus on this in a game. But you have to kind of cross-train, especially wideouts, because you want to play the best guys. You can't say, hey, this guy's the backup slot just because he's the second slot. No, can Ferg go in there and play slot if Darby's not in there? Or can Prince play slot? So that's what we're really trying to press with Ferg, but he's done a really good job this camp. I'm excited about him.
Well, going back to the running backs, it feels like every time you draft up two JUCO running backs, Amir and Jordan, they're always just grouped together. But can you kind of break it out and say anything individually you'd like?
Yeah, I would say Amir's farther ahead than Jordan. Amir's got some real juice. He's really tough. It took him about 3 days to learn what to do. And some guys, it takes 3 months. So that was really impressive. It means his football IQ is up there. Jordan just got to get into shape. He's a little bit away, but big back, does a really good job out of the backfield. But I would say Amir is currently further along than Jordan just based on what's happened in spring ball. But both those kids, I give them a lot of credit. They showed up. They didn't flinch. They got right in there and started to work, which a lot of people would shy away from that.
Kind of an off-the-field question, but you guys have the Meet the Team event tonight. How fun is stuff like that for you, just getting to interact with the fan base?
It's awesome. They are what makes us go. You talk about a sense of urgency. I want our team to look a certain way for Big Blue Nation. They are the heartbeat of our team, of our university. They make this thing go, and without them, we're nothing. So the ability to see, kids, men, women, everybody that's here to support our players, it's big.
Well, some of the issues that bothered you today, how much of that is, in your mind, a lack of leadership, or is that oversimplification? Because you do have a team that's still trying to learn each other.
Yeah, I don't think it's like leadership. It just felt like survival out there a little bit. Instead of attack mode, it was kind of, hey, it's hot, man, we've been practicing a while, instead of, hey, we get to go in Kroger Field and go get to work, And so it'll be addressed, and we'll improve, and we'll have a better week because of it. So, practice a lot of times is to get things wrong and to figure it out and to grow. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to take it and we're going to grow from it and improve because it's going to be here before we know it.
Well, coaches often say that it's hard to determine sometimes in a scrimmage situation how the overall team's doing. Was the defense part of the issues today?
I mean, I think there was good plays on both sides of the ball, but I would say in terms of like the blue group, which is our first team, I would say the defense won that side. The white was a little bit more even. There were some big plays on offense. But as a whole, I just didn't like how we started on offense. Just urgency, in and out of the huddle, breaking, the things that we can control. You know, can't control what the ref does or a tip ball or all this other stuff, but we can control our tempo, we can control our urgency in and out of the huddle, we can control our demeanor, and that's what I didn't really feel. So, and this is not a theme of all camp, it was today. So, but good thing it's happening today and not, tomorrow or the next day, so we can go correct it.
We heard a lot about the Marcus Starr during the spring. How has he kind of carried that football?
Yeah, he's done some good stuff. He's continuing to learn our defense. You know, in this league, in this defense, in football, you can't just say I'm a man-to-man corner. Mike, you got to play vision 2. You got to play third. You got to know your assignments. You got to have bunch checks. You can't just guard this dude. So that's where he's got to continue to grow his game. But when he knows what to do, he plays well. So it's not just all about talent or ability. It's about understanding your assignment. So he's made some plays. He's got to continue to grow. But overall, I'm pleased with his progress, but he's still got to keep going.
Well, I guess going back to Antonio trade, I mean, he knew this could be a potential thing that would happen, but I guess how is he just doing after learning this thing?
I mean, just like anything, it's disappointment for any kid that's worked a lot to have an opportunity. So, like I told him, he's gonna have he's got opportunities for a career after this too. I mean, he's a good player, so I wish him nothing but the best. He's a great dude, and it stinks.
You saw you had a little opportunity to play college football with YouTuber that's been Kentucky guy, Bordeaux. Heard you won that game first and foremost.
Yeah.
Is that a game you play regularly, or is it?
No, I did not play it regularly. I grew up playing that game, so, but no, I'm not an avid video gamer. No, I'm not, but I still got it, you know what I'm saying? Still got it, and Bordeaux got it, so we played a half. I got lucky. He might have been taking it easy on me, but no, we had fun.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Coach Bateman, more fun. We'll begin in a second. Everybody,
How's everybody doing?
questions for Coach Bateman?
Jay, just what media reactions have you
Good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was awesome. It was hot. Grant Godfrey's shoes melted in the individual. That was what we needed. I love the heat. I thought it was good. I thought we did a really nice job on third down. I thought early on some of our run defense was a little bit timid, kind of trying to figure it out. I think once we kind of settled in the run game, it was pretty good. And I thought we did a good job on third down. Really thought the corners played well, even though we were down. Our main guys. I thought it was really impressive to see those guys.
If he gets cleared to play games, how do you envision Alex Safari kind of fitting in?
I think we're just preparing right now and obviously hopeful because Alex has got a lot of experience, right? He's a talented kid. I really like him. When I got a chance to meet him a little bit when I first got here, I remembered him out of high school. He's kind of a unique player out of high school. You weren't really sure what he's going to become, and I knew he could become a good player. I honestly thought he'd get drafted, So I think he's got 31 career starts. I don't know many D coordinators that would be real disappointed if a guy like that was able to come. So look, fired up about him. Hope it happens, but feel good about the linebackers either way. So I think hopefully Alex comes and can give us a little bit of a veteran presence.
Coach, with the news of O'Berry, just talk about the edge. What's behind him and the edge.
Yeah, I know Will talked about it. Look, sad for him, but at the same time, I really think Cowan and CJ and Sam Green are really good players. So I feel really good about T-Dub, coaching those guys in that room. I feel really good about it. So, I think we'll be fine. Yep.
Works in particular, what have you seen him kind of do?
Man, I tell you, he loves football. I knew about him. He's been everything I thought. Maybe even a little bit savvier football player than I thought. But man, I think those kids are going to be good players. I've been fortunate the last handful of years to be around some really good edge guys, and I see a really bright future for those three kids, man.
Last week, Stein talked about wanting to see a lot of the ones, mainly on the O-line and D-line, really start going at each other. What's those battles been like, especially maybe on a hot day like today?
It was, yeah, man, I think it's good. I mean, look, this game always has been and always will be about big people, right? It's why it's the best game ever. So, there's been some days that, the advantage is tilted towards Cutter's guys, and some days the advantage is tilted towards Stu's guys. And, I'm excited. I thought today, man, we got some like Ben Duncombe, man. He played really good today. He's a true freshman. Like I think we're making progress with some of those guys that are going to be good players. So I think Tyler Thomas has improved a ton. And so I think Stu's Stu's going to grind those guys and get them ready to go. And there's some good young players in that group.
In the fronts that you use, is it a nose tackle, and how did those guys?
Remember now, Youngstown State's going to listen to this, but it just depends, bro. It just depends. A little bit of both. You know what I mean? You better be able to do a couple different things if you play in our front seven, and so it just depends.
Could you talk about the big guys a little bit and how they shape that?
Yeah, I mean, like McKees Grace, I think is a dynamite player. I think Ahmad Bro's been a little banged up. He didn't go today, but I think it's been what we thought he would be. A guy that can give you some versatility, plays really hard. Chops. Look. When you say like nose guard, like that's what they're supposed to look like, right? Chops is a big fella, right? I think Big K has been tremendous. Stu's done a really nice job with him, and then I think Dominic Wiseman is a little bit sawed off, but like man, he's played a lot of football, right? Like experience matters. And so I think those three, as that nose position, they've been good. Obviously, Tay's a really good player. I've been really impressed with Jaden. We kind of held those two a little bit today to see some of the other guys, but really good with those guys. I mean, I feel good about the front, man. We just got to keep them healthy and try to play with them all year. That's going to be the key.
You mentioned Grant's plays, but just him as a player, just what has he brought you all like?
Man, yeah. I mean, I think people underestimate the processing speed you have to have. Wesley Woodyard was out there today and talked. I had him talk to the guys, which was awesome, man. And but the processing speed at linebacker with your brain. I mean, Grant's really smart. Obviously, he's his history with his dad being a great player. I think that helps, right? But yeah, I really like Grant. He's big, He's bigger than I've had in the last few years, so I think I like that about him. But man, he's smart. He's becoming a leader. I'm kind of challenging him to be more of a leader. I think that's something he could do because he is really smart. But man, he's really embraced the role of the leader. I mean, my gut is he'll be the guy with the green dot in his helmet, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. Man, I think he's going to play a ton and have a really good year for us.
Isaiah McMillian.
Yeah, so Isaiah, I knew his dad. He was, coming out of high school, and you're at a 10, 200 meters in high school, so you knew he was he legit track speed. And I went and saw him, and when he was a young kid, and he was really skinny, and I was like, man, this guy, he looked frail almost, right? And he got here, and it's like every couple weeks I would, before spring practice you wouldn't see him, and then after, I go recruiting, I come back, and then vacation, you come back. Man, he just keeps getting bigger, man. AB's done a great job with him. His body's better. He's fighting through a thumb, but he's out there playing, and man, he's really improved. I think he's in the spring I was he's got to come along a little faster. Man, I think he's had a really good summer. He's a little more confident. I can kind of get after him a little bit. He responds. I like him. His dad's a college coach. He knows what this is about. I think he's got a pretty bright future, man.
You talked with us a few weeks ago and joked and said, I don't understand how Ty Bryant was all SEC last year, and there's people leaving him off their all SEC preseason list this year. You talked about just how important he was. Now that you guys have been into camp and had the scrimmage today, how has he been in leadership-wise and on the field?
Tremendous leader, really hard on himself. You talk about a kid who's got a standard almost unattainable. That's how he lives his life. Just so smart, look, I mean, he smiles, he's got $1 million smile, but then on the field now, he's going to try to he's going to physically get after you. So I just think I love that dude, man. I'm really fortunate I get to coach that guy, and I'm glad he's with us, man. I'm trying to, it's 5 for 5 now. I'm trying to talk him into one more. Every time I see Cisco, I try to plant the seed, you with me? So, but he's dynamite player, man.
You mentioned smart a lot of guys. Do you feel like you've got a group that you can do more things with because of
I do think we've got some kids at football make sense to that are smart. You know, Ty Grant. I think Ryan Nichols is really smart. I think Lorenzo Cowan is tremendous. Like one of the smarter edge players I've had. So I think we've got a group of guys. We've got to bring some of the other ones up. You know, right now it's a little bit of like 400 level classes and then like, you know, in freshman classes with some guys. But I think we're bringing that along. I think to play football nowadays as a defender, you got to be able to handle a lot of checks and a lot of motions and anticipate. And we're making progress in that. But I do think we have some smart kids for sure.
How important is it when you have those players that have those high IQs that those guys also become leaders and can bring their teammates along?
Yeah, well, I think with confidence comes leadership a little bit, right? You know, and so I think when they're confident, they know what's going on, they're able to communicate that. I think the leadership comes, and then I think, you know, you have to challenge some of them, like, hey, like what is the role of a leader? Like, you know, a lot of really good leaders don't have a lot of friends, you know, and I think that's been my challenge to these kids is like, hey, look, you know, I tell them all the time, I got enough friends, right? So like, you know, like challenge your group, bring the group along, demand a certain level. And, you know, we talk all the time with them. The player-led standard is the standard that wins. And so they have to establish a standard and hold each other accountable. I can only, you know, I'm going to drive the bus, but like to really be successful, they've got to lead. And we've got some bright kids that are starting to really turn the corner in that direction.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Coach Sloan.
It didn't sound like Will was super thrilled with the first team offense today. How did you see that play out?
Yeah, I'd agree with him. I mean, I thought we ran the ball well. We ran the ball, especially in the red zone, really well. But there was just some couple penalties, you know, alignments, those kind of things. First time you're out there on your own. A couple things that cost us big plays. The next thing you know, you're in third down, and then you got to make the play on third down. Not like some of the other days that we've had. But those guys know it, and they'll bounce back. But you know, there were some positives. You go watch the tape, there'll be some positives. But definitely we can play better than what we did today, and we have throughout the week. But I thought some of the other guys, I thought individually some guys did some really good things, and I thought the second group probably played as effectively as they've played throughout camp, which was nice to see because we're gonna need a bunch of different guys this fall. So that was good.
Talked about how you ran the ball fairly well. How is the O-line throughout the development, Damon, as we get closer to the season?
Yeah, I think it's really good. They're coming off the ball. They're coming off the ball really. You know, I think they're creating movement and creating opportunities and run lanes for the backs. And I thought we saw that showed up today, which was really nice to see because it's happened in practice. So it was good to see it show up today. And I think we saw that. So it's definitely something to build on, and I think we'll see it on tape. There'll be some really explosive runs.
How far along do you feel like you guys are on the install?
Yeah, we're pretty through it. I mean, you know, just some minor things here and there. You know, maybe some wrinkles that way, but we're pretty good in terms of concepts. Now it's about going back and really dialing in on the details. So when we come in next weekend, right, we have an opportunity to go out and really have a crisp day of a full game, right? And I think that's the other thing, right? Like we got to be ready to do that throughout that. It'll be nice to get some, you know, just continuing to get some different guys out there and watch them work together and watch Kenny run the field.
Joe, Will mentioned Callum when we asked about that quarterback. Just what have you seen from him on the football?
You know, I think and today did a nice job just in terms of there's a lot of comfortability. He's played a decent amount of football, and he's an older guy, so I think there's some comfortability for him out there, which I think that showed up. You know, in some third down situations and some opportunities down the field and some 2-minute situations, which was good to see. And I think he's gotten better at, you know, just all the nuances, right, of what we're doing and being able to command the guys when it comes to that. Really, now when you see as he's gotten comfortable, now he's making the throws. At times he was in the right spot, but maybe he was a little bit late or whatever that might be early, and that's to be expected, right? He's a full spring behind everybody else. So I thought you started to really see that show up today, but I think definitely his experience and his age and how he carries himself is really good.
Joe,
Coach talked about there being a lot of opportunity in every room, but especially in that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Now you're a few days into camp and you've had a scrimmage. What are you seeing from that room, or is there anybody that's rising to the occasion with that opportunity?
Yeah, I think Kenny Darby's had a really good camp. Just when you talk about just consistency, day in, day out. Throughout camp, I think Ferg, I think Shane Carr's had a good camp. I think Brock's done a great thing. I think Prince had a really good day today. He continues to show up and make plays. And there's, some guys here and there, right? And you work through the ups and downs and nicks of camp and things like that, right? With guys out, and different people have an opportunity, and I think a lot of those guys have definitely taken advantage of that opportunity. But I think definitely the last couple of days, Prince, just like he did in the spring, I think he continues to come on. He'll be a good young player.
Feeding off that, how important is it going to be we know that wide receiver room is important, but to have 81, he's a tight end, but out there catching passes as well, because he's been highly touted. Yeah,
he's critical to our offense. Yeah, he's critical to what we do. I mean, we want to put him at the first or second read on a lot of our pass concepts. We want to continue to use him. I think he's a mismatch, right, from a lot of different perspectives when you either talk about speed or when you talk about size. And I think, he continues to show that throughout camp. And then he's been great through contact, which I think is huge. He's been able to make plays in contact, and that's what he's going to have to do week in, week out.
Joe, how's the O-line depth coming along?
Well, I think definitely Knox has really stepped up in terms of him being ready to go in and play it at a high level, and he's in the competition, right? For that. I mean, there's not. Right, we're going to play the best guys. I think, from Tegra, and I think the tackles, obviously have come out pretty good in terms of who it is. But Tegra, Olas, Knox, I think all those guys give us an opportunity in the middle, and it gives us some flexibility, right, with some different guys, which, I think Olas is a multi-position player, which we saw in the spring. But those are definitely the ones I think that have done a really nice job. But I think some of those guys continue to come. I mean, I think Hayes has done a really nice job continuing to develop as a young player. Mark, we've seen flashes. He's just got to keep coming and keep getting stronger. I'd like to see throughout the season him continue to develop and be ready, right, if he gets called upon. So there's definitely a number of guys who have stepped up, but I think Knox is the one that continues to stick out to me in terms of putting himself into that conversation.
All right, thanks, Coach Sloan.
Thanks, guys.